Hey everyone, welcome to the Week 5 edition of the Heels Picks. A little bit of late night edition this time around. Let's dig into it. Buccaneers and Falcons Thursday night football. A good NFC South showdown between two teams. That probably doing. I think Atlanta's slowly starting to reach the expectations that a lot of people had for them. I know Tampa's defying a lot, even from last year. Again with Baker Mayfield, that they're going to be a playoff team. They're a team. They're a very balanced football team in my opinion. I think, in my opinion, right now, man. I'm gonna lean on Tampa. I'm gonna lean on Tampa for this game, but this is honestly a toss up. But I'll take the Buccaneers by one. Jets and Vikings. I believe this is the first London game, if I'm not mistaken. Well, the Vikings, man, impressive. They're just kicking ass, taking names, giving stunners out. Saying Stone Cold Sam Darnold is out here just kicking ass. The Jets lost a pathetic game to the Broncos, and it made me laugh. Let me tell you, the Jets' last chance for that relevancy and to win that Super Bowl was last season. And when Leonard Floyd destroyed Aaron Rodgers' Achilles, that was the end of it. I think the Jets are still, maybe they might be enough to make the playoffs. But right now, Minnesota, in my opinion, with Sam Darnold, another one of these nice little revenge games, I think they're going to kick ass. I'm going to take the Vikings by 6. Bears and Panthers. One young quarterback, the other one sitting on the bench. The Panthers have been on. They're Bryce Young. I think was the problem. I don't know. Maybe he just needs more time. I don't know. And this is probably the same comments I had last week. But Dalton makes the offense more competent. And with the Bears, still learning curve for Caleb Williams. Still, this is the team I expected them to be. I expected them to win between 6 to 8 games. And their ceiling might have been maybe a playoff appearance with 10 wins. But I don't think they're going to even hit that. Out of these two teams, though, I think the Bears are a better team. They have more talent. And I will take them here. Give me the Bears by 3. Browns and Commanders, man. Jaden Daniels is him. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. That kid is impressive. He's already looked more impressive than Caleb Williams. He's already like, yep, I was the best quarterback in that draft, and he's already made it. And if we just cut the line right now, it'd be him. Absolutely. He is going to take that team places. He is everything, and I said this. He is what Washington hoped they would get out of RG3. Now let's hope he can get past that first year and not have something catastrophic happen to him, of course. But the future is very bright there. And the same cannot be said on the side of the Cleveland Browns, who can't find themselves. I don't know what to think of this Browns team other than disappointment. They kind of suck. Amari Cooper can't catch passes. Deshaun Watson can't read a defense. I don't know what's wrong with this team. Maybe if Nick Chubb comes back, he'll improve the offense a bit, which it will. But does he still have it after tearing all his muscles in his knee? Who knows? Ligaments. I don't know, man. But in this game, I'm gonna take Washington here by 10. Patriots and Dolphins in what could be the ugliest game of the week. Tyler Huntley versus Jacoby Brissett. I'm sure everybody is lining up to watch that football game. New England by 3. Colts and Jags. The Jaguars, my God, they are just not a good team. I don't think I've ever seen anybody. It's funny because Trevor Lawrence has just been on this, and him and the Jaguars is not just a blame by himself, but him and the Jaguars have been on this skid. I'll give them credit. They looked a little more competent against Houston, but this skid, it just keeps getting worse. And it's like, I don't think I've ever seen someone make so much money in the midst of such a losing streak. It blows my mind. And every Jaguars fan I know, which is only a few, blows their mind too. They don't understand. They don't get it. I don't get it. No one's going to get it. The Colts, on the other hand, even if it was Joe Flacco playing that game, which very well could be, I'm going to take them. The Colts with Joe Flacco, with Anthony Richardson, it doesn't matter. Like, until Jacksonville can prove they can put together a whole game of football and win one, like, they're worse than the Giants. They're worse than, you know what I mean? Because at least the Giants have had moments where they look good this year. And there's a little bit of hope. Jaguars don't have any. Give me the Colts here by 6. Oh man, the revenge on Diggs game, huh? Man, everybody's heard my piece on that and what I think, And on Sunday night, Buffalo got punched in the mouth. Hey, it happens. Okay. And it was the first time, I think it was in 43 consecutive games that they lost by more than 6 points. So, I mean, you're going to have these moments. And I recall that last game where they got their asses handed to them like such. And I believe it was a home game against Indianapolis in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of the, actually, no, it might have been the playoff game against Cincinnati. I digress. This Bills team does not look like this very often. And so, and as I've said, sometimes you just got to get socked in the mouth and realize what's wrong, figure out what your issues are, and that they are very hurt on defense. They're missing a lot of guys, and I had said that it was somewhat. I had previously stated it was somewhat miraculous that despite all these injuries, the defense was still performing pretty well. They didn't have any answers for Baltimore's offense, unfortunately. Learn your lesson, take your lick on the chin, and just this team is very motivated. Stephon Diggs is very motivated. We know this on both sides. This is going to be one of those marquee games, and they're going to build this story all week. You already know what it's going to be, and you already know where I'm going. Screw Stephon Diggs. Give me the Bills here by 3. Okay, Ravens and Bengals. As I previously mentioned with the Bills, with their game against the Bills, the Ravens looked impressive. They took advantage of very soft, weak zone defense that the Bills were playing, and they chopped up that double-sided sword that can be. Oh, Lamar's going to beat you with the run. Just kidding. Derrick Henry's going to beat you with the run. They had their way. On the flip side, Cincinnati, again, they're a teeter-totter team where I don't know what I'm going to see out of them week in and week out. It's, to me, they don't look as impressive as maybe 2-3 years ago when they went on that Super Bowl run, or even when they were on those runs where they were in conference title games. But I still think they're a solid roster, and I still think they can hang. Baltimore's on a bit of they're heating up now. I'm going to take the Ravens by 7. Raiders and Broncos could be another one of those Broncos-Jets game. This could be that again. Again, if you're a fan of either of these teams, I'm sorry. If you have any fantasy players, I guess you might be a little interested. Oh, man. It's just Raiders by 3. Cardinals and Niners. This is actually going to be a bit of an interesting game. I'm very interested to see how Arizona shows up for this divisional game. They're another team where I kind of can't figure their identity out. They blow out the Rams. They lost week 1 in that exciting but blown lead by them game against Buffalo. I can't figure them out. And then the Niners are a little less dominant than I thought they were going to be this season too, which is why this game is going to be a little more interesting than I thought. I think this game will be a very close game, honestly. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I'm going to take the Niners here by 2. Yeah, 2. It'll be close. Giants and Seahawks, man. I had the Giants with that big upset on the Cowboys, and man, they shoulda, right? That team has signs of life, and that's honestly what's really important. It's a 1-3 team that could easily be 3-1, in my opinion. So give that team time. If Daniel Jones, if he can just keep finding Malik Neighbors, if he can get healthy, if he got his noggin knocked around, and that's kind of an issue too as well. Let me cut back a little bit. My issue is you're going to overuse this kid too much, and that's just you're going to knock his brains out, or he's going to get hurt in a different way. And overusage is like the number one killer when it comes to young football players. Like that's just what happens. So I understand why he's your guy. You gotta he's a stud, but at the same time you gotta be careful when it comes to that. Seattle, on the other hand, that game against Detroit, that is some entertaining football there. Even in a loss, they look like a good football team, man. They impressed me a lot. I think they just have a little too much firepower, especially if Neighbors is not playing for the Giants. I think Seattle has way too much firepower. Give me the Seahawks by 7. Packers and Rams. Well, Packers. They did come back and make it a decent game against Minnesota, but man, they looked outmatched. I was surprised just the way they were getting it handed to them. I was just mesmerized. And the Rams again. There's so many teams, and it's the usual thing probably about this time of years where I can't put a finger on what I really think of certain teams, and that the Rams are just another one too. They're a team where I'm like, this team they could whoop Green Bay's ass. Or Jordan Love will throw for 400 yards on them. I can't figure out what's going to happen in regards to that. But I'm very high on what the Packers have been doing lately. And despite that Minnesota loss, they pulled in. They didn't fall and lay over. They gave it their all in that game. I'm going to take the Packers here by 6. Cowboys, Steelers, Sunday Night Football. One of the NFL's classic games. I'm very excited to put this out there. Steelers lost. I knew somewhere down the line this thing was coming for them. They could have won that game though. So there is that. I had said, I've been saying, is the way they play sustainable to continue winning? And they took a loss, but at the same time, it's still Justin Fields, man. Kudos to him. He took what happened in Chicago on the chin, went to Pittsburgh, didn't even win the job, and then Russ is hurt, and he's like, I'll take this, and I'll run with it. On the flip side, Dallas, they got to figure some stuff out on their side. They run inside the disappointment. That just always seems to like. We'll see. We'll know how for real Dallas is probably about like week 10. I'll have a better idea about them. I feel like it's very must win for them. I'm going to take Dallas here by 3. Saints and Chiefs for the Monday night game. Saints are kind of reeling a little bit. They were impressive to start the year. And I guess maybe I don't know, everybody's trying to think, okay, well, maybe the real version of them is showing up. And teams are catching up to what they were doing the first couple of weeks. I don't know. They were also deliberately running Taysom Hill at the goal line because my opponent had him and I had Alvin Kamara, but that's not the point. But anyways, and on the flip side, Kansas City is still Kansas City, and they're a hard team to pick against. And it's Derek Carr versus Patrick Mahomes. It's not close. Give me Kansas City here by 9. And that has been the Heels Picks for Week 5. Keep on coming back, pushing this content out. We got to rebuild the fan base, trying our damnedest. We appreciate all your support. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.